Hello, my name is Ryan, your digital presenter for today's event. Before we dive into the exciting and informative content we've prepared for you, here's a quick disclaimer. I'm actually an artificial intelligence, AI, designed and programmed to assist with sharing valuable knowledge and resources. I am here to provide evidence-based, up-to-date information and guidance, and will share real stories from my colleagues at FND. Here at FND, we value honesty and transparency in all our interactions. The Family Network on Disabilities believes that incredible technological advancements, such as AI, can significantly enhance our ability to provide families with the resources, support, and information they need. All the information in this training comes from the dedicated team of experts at FND. They have years of experience, a rich understanding, and most importantly, a deep passion for supporting families like yours. Welcome to our presentation. We are glad you are here. Before we begin, I'd like to share a little bit about Family Network on Disabilities. Family Network on Disabilities started in 1985 by a group of parents of children with disabilities who came together looking for mutual support. FND is a grassroots organization for persons with disabilities and their families that is family-centered and family-driven. What makes FND unique is that the majority of our board members, our management staff, and program staff are either individuals with experience with a disability or have family members with a disability, which gives us the perspective of empathy and compassion for the work that we do. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization helping families across the state. We're funded in part by the U.S. Department of Education and the U.S. Department of Health through the Health Resources Services Administration. We use all that funding to provide information, resources, support, and training to families, educators, professionals, and providers throughout the state. We do not charge for our services. At this time, we would like to make a disclaimer that we at FND are not attorneys, doctors, or mental health professionals. We do not offer legal or medical advice in our workshops. We are happy to support you with information, resources, and support. We use research-based information in our training and materials. Today, we'll discuss Beginning the Journey Part 2. So, let's get started. We have two possible paths here. Your child may either be eligible or not eligible for this move, and I'm here to clarify the options and guide you through the process. If your child is not eligible, don't worry. We'll explore the criteria for eligibility in detail and look into alternatives for you to consider. There are plenty of services, providers, and programs that can help you support your child's developmental needs, which is why you initially turn to Early Steps. On the other hand, if your child is eligible, Early Steps will assist you as your child moves into the public school system. The pre-K ESE programs cater specifically to children with disabilities, offering specialized services and support to ensure a smooth move. Under the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, IDEA, there are two key sections that we need to focus on, Part C and Part B. Part C is dedicated to supporting our children from birth to 36 months or up to 3 years old. On the other hand, Part B targets school-aged children from 3 years old up to 26, according to federal law. However, in Florida, this age cap is set at 22 and may vary depending on the county. In some areas, you may see students exiting from the Free and Appropriate Public Education, or FAPE, as soon as they turn 22, while in others, it may extend until the end of that month or the school year. Our primary focus is on 3-year-olds moving from Part C to Part B. We know it may seem like a long way off from when your child will be a senior, but trust us, time will fly. In our discussion today, we will also emphasize the critical role that parental involvement plays in this process. It's essential to be well informed about your procedural safeguards and understand your rights as parents. We know this can be a stressful time for parents. Sending your child to kindergarten at age 5 is tough, but it feels even more daunting when they're eligible for ESE services at age 3 and must be dropped off at an elementary school. Today, we're here to help calm your worries. We've heard concerns from parents like, "My child is too young to go to school," or "We haven't mastered potty training yet." Others worry about their child's ability to feed themselves or that their child may not be talking or walking yet. Many parents find it daunting to consider putting their 3-year-old on a school bus. Then, there's also the aspect of expecting your child to sit in a classroom for a 6-hour day. It's essential to recognize that these choices may not be the best option for all children. It's a highly individual decision. The whole purpose of having an IEP, an Individualized Education Plan, for students with disabilities is to ensure they have access to all the supports, modifications, interventions, resources, and assistance they need in a public classroom setting. This allows them to interact and learn alongside their classmates, whether disabled or not. What does the process entail? Under IDEA, there's a requirement for a transition plan from the Individualized Family Service Plan, or IFSP. If your child is under 3 years old, you likely have an IFSP, a home plan you've been working on in a natural environment. However, a plan is needed to enter the public school system. Your local early steps will notify the school board, and another evaluation will be conducted. It's important to note a difference here. With an IFSP, there's an annual evaluation. However, once your child is eligible for an IEP, evaluations occur every 3 years, which is referred to as a triennial. We delve deeper into this topic in our workshop, an IEP that works for you. At this stage, remember that your local school district will conduct one or more evaluations depending on your child's needs to determine if your child is eligible for ESE services in the public school system. We want to highlight that there are 14 different criteria for disabilities under IDEA. You do have the choice to opt out of early steps if you're not ready. Suppose your child is still experiencing delays, but you're not prepared or comfortable moving them to an elementary school's ESE, Exceptional Student Education, preschool classroom. In that case, Early Steps and the Department of Health will ask you to sign an opt-out form. This confirms that you're aware you're choosing not to move your child to preschool. Now, suppose your child is still experiencing delays at age 3. And those delays are more than just developmental and involve a disability. In that case, we highly recommend utilizing the Child Find organization available in every school district when your child turns 5 and starts school. You can go through the evaluation process again at that point if you choose to opt out when your child is 3. Remember, it's an individual decision. However, we want to emphasize the importance of continuity. Your IFSP team, your Early Steps team, and the IEP team from your local elementary school will all come together for a conference to discuss what the move will look like for your child. Evaluations necessitate explicit parental consent. You'll be asked to sign forms because under Early Steps, your child's medical records are protected by HIPAA. You must sign a consent form allowing the school district to access those previous records. Additionally, you'll need to provide consent for evaluations so the school psychologist can assess your child. If your child requires evaluations for speech-language therapy, physical therapy, or occupational therapy for motor skills, all of these will be explicitly outlined in the consent forms you'll be asked to sign. Let's briefly discuss the differences between the IFSP and the IEP. The IFSP, or Individualized Family Service Plan, is for children from birth to 3 years old. It's family-focused and implemented in the home or natural environment. You'll have a service coordinator assigned to your family, and the plan includes 6-month reviews. It's a team plan, similar to the IEP in the school system, and the goals are centered around developmental milestones. The IFSP is considered an early intervention under Part C of IDEA. On the other hand, the IEP is for children aged 3 to 22, or up to the end of their 21st birthday. It is child-focused and takes place in the least restrictive environment, MEB. Where your child is taught, special education is not a place, but a service that can be provided in a general education classroom if appropriate. For example, integrated ESE. Pre-K classrooms allow students with disabilities to learn alongside their peers in a general education setting, with support services coming into the school. Instead of a service coordinator, you'll have an ESE teacher or specialist as your primary support. The IEP is reviewed annually, and academic goals are set in various domains such as academic and curriculum, independent functioning, social-emotional, communication, and health. An independent functioning goal could involve your child turning in their work independently or starting a task independently. It's about how the disability impacts their educational environment. Instead of early intervention, it is known as special education and falls under Part B of IDEA. Please note that special education involves many acronyms. We will share a link on our website that provides a comprehensive list of these acronyms and the eligibility criteria for special education. Additionally, we encourage you to view our IEP workshops for more information on the IEP process. An IEP aims to set measurable annual goals for your child and outline special education, related services, and supplementary aids that the school district will provide to ensure your child receives a free and appropriate public education. We can't emphasize the importance of viewing one of our IEP workshops, as there is much to learn about this process. Additionally, you're always welcome to call our toll-free number, which we'll share at the end of the workshop. You can speak directly with a parent trainer who can walk you through all this and help you better understand the IEP process. How can parents actively participate in the IEP process? Remember, you're an integral part of the team, not just a visitor in the IEP meeting. You represent 50% of the decision-making power, even if there are 8 professionals on the other side of the table. You have the right to disagree and to voice your concerns. It's important to collaborate and communicate effectively, and even when you disagree, know that you have the right to do so. As your child's best voice, you bring unique insights and information. You know your child better than anyone else. Remember, explicit consent is crucial. The school district must inform you about the services your child will receive, where they'll receive them, what their graduation track will look like as they get older, and how they'll achieve it. These rights and processes are outlined in the procedural safeguards, which we'll discuss in the upcoming slides. What can you do in the meantime? Continue being the supportive parent, grandparent, aunt, uncle, guardian, foster parent, or surrogate parent you are. Please provide your child with opportunities at home to gain as much independence as possible within their abilities. Structure is crucial for a child's development. Take, for example, a child whose parent assigned them the task of taking out the garbage when they were 4 years old. It was easy for the child to gather garbage bags from the bathrooms and put them into a larger bag, but taking the kitchen garbage bag outside was a bigger responsibility. Being allowed to go outside alone was a significant step at 4 years old. This kind of responsibility is vital for fostering self-championship skills. Listening to them is essential as your child ages and begins to express themselves. That doesn't mean always saying yes. There are various ways to say no while encouraging their independence and growth. With the IFSP, a review occurs every 6 months with the coordinator. In contrast, the IEP is reviewed annually. However, this doesn't mean that meetings can't happen more often if needed. If changes are required in the IEP document, if the child isn't mastering their goals, or if they've exceeded their goals, parents can call another meeting and bring the team together. A strategy that worked well for one family was to hold a parent-teacher conference. It didn't necessarily have to involve the teacher. It could have included the ESE specialist, support specialist, case manager, or individuals providing related services at school, such as the counselor or speech-language pathologist. While parents have the right to call an IEP meeting whenever needed, it must be held at least once a year. Procedural safeguards are rights guaranteed to parents during the IEP process. When parents enter an IEP meeting, they may be given a booklet, a printed copy, or a link to these safeguards. A brief overview of these rights includes 1. Access to the child's educational records. Parents can review these records by making an appointment with the team. They may need to view the records on site, and if they request copies, they might have to pay a nominal fee. This is also called the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, for PAW. 2. Right to an independent educational evaluation, i.e., if parents disagree with the district's assessment of their child, they can request an IEE. 3. Parent participation. Parents are valued and essential IEP team members. They should receive prior written notice of meetings and a request for parent input, which includes their observations of the child. They can sign and return this notice to confirm attendance. Parents can suggest alternatives or request multiple meetings if the proposed meeting date doesn't work or if they believe more time is needed. 4. Prior written notice. Parents must receive written notice before the school changes their child's IEP, including evaluations, placement, and services. 5. Procedural Safeguards Notice. This document outlines the rights and procedural safeguards guaranteed to parents under the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, IDEA. 6. Understandable language. If parents or their child is not a native English speaker, they have the right to evaluations and reports in their own language. They can also request an interpreter for meetings. 7. Confidentiality of information. Parents have the right to ensure that their child's educational records are kept confidential and that their privacy is protected. 8. Informed consent. or parental consent. Parents must provide explicit consent for evaluations, placement, and services. 9. Stay put rights. If parents disagree with the district and are going through a mediation or due process, the child remains in their current placement until a decision is reached. 10. Due process. Parents can file a due process complaint if they disagree with the district's decisions regarding their child's education. 11. Mediation. Parents can mediate with the district to resolve disputes collaboratively and less adversarially. 12. Ability to file a state complaint. Parents can file a state complaint if they believe the district has violated IDEA or other applicable laws. These safeguards aim to ensure that parents have a meaningful role in the IEP process and that their rights are respected. Here you can see our F&D family. These are the programs housed under the Family Network on Disabilities. Each program provides a unique service to a specific population. There are 3 PTI programs funded by the U.S. Department of Education through the Office of Special Education Programs. Poppin serves North Florida, PSN serves Southwest Florida, and Penn serves Southeast Florida. The Family Star program, funded by the U.S. Department of Health under the Health Resources Services Administration, supports families of youth with special health care needs. FND houses the parent-to-parent program called P2P, which connects trained volunteer support parents with other parents to provide social and emotional support. FND also has a special needs trust where we provide families with information regarding creating and supporting a special needs trust. Here you can also see all of our socials. Make sure to follow us for the most up-to-date information and resources. You can reach us to help you and your family by calling 800-8255-736 and letting us know your needs. You'll be assigned to a staff person who can support you. Visit our website for valuable resources and more information. Did you like this presentation or our assistance? Please leave us a review. It helps us connect with more families like yours. We want to thank you for spending this time with us during this presentation. We look forward to hearing